Hello guys, welcome back to another video. We've got a lovely little matcha joining us for today's video. I actually made this at home. It's a white chocolate oat milk matcha, and she's not mixing. Oh, she's mixing, there we go. Also, is this not just like the most perfect shaped cup? I just love how like round it is, and then it's got like a big sippy cup with like a big enough hole in to put a straw in if you want a straw in there. I've just bunched my seat all the way up so that we can get comfortable, because today I'm literally just filming a sit down Q&A girl talk style video, chatty video. I've got some updates. I've not filmed one of these in a long time because honestly last year that I had like 4 life updates videos, and I was like no. I think in my last one I said if I do another life updates video in 2024, I was like I cannot do that. I've not done one since I said that, and yeah, I just wanted to do like a sit down chatty Q&A video. So we're gonna have some girl talk style questions, some life updates, basically just a big fat juicy catch-up session. So like grab a snack, grab a drink. There is however another reason why this video is this week's video. I will be completely honest, I'll cop to it. Basically my YouTube schedule, by the way, I had so many lovely messages from people on Instagram. I started a new weekly vlog which you'll see next week, like a couple of days ago, and at the start of it I was literally like sorry for no upload last week guys, and then I was like actually no one's probably even noticed, and just sort of making a joke about it. And I briefly mentioned it on my Instagram, and so many of you guys messaged me being like no, like I noticed, like I'm gagging for another video, quite frankly, like you are part of my Sunday routine. It is such an honor to be a part of your Sunday routine, but I apologize that there was no upload last week. It's not Alphalite's fault, it's my own fault. I need to have like a contingency plan in place, but I basically rearranged my entire week last week. I had appointments booked, I had things booked with friends, and I moved them all to this week. I assumed, just like everyone else got their Alphalite parcel last week, that I would be getting an Alphalite parcel last week, but my parcel came in an entire week late, which meant because I was waiting for that parcel all week and I'd sort of rearranged everything, I didn't have anything to film. I had no video for last Sunday because it should have been an Alphalite review, and then because my stuff came in so late this week, it came in halfway through the week, I've still not actually done that review yet because I've not had long enough with the pieces. So that's basically why there was no upload last week. But basically apologies for no upload last week, that's why there wasn't a video. We're back to our Sunday schedule and you will have a weekly vlog next week. So I asked for questions on Instagram and you guys delivered. Like I actually got some good questions this time. I'll be honest, I planned on filming one of these like 3 months ago, and when I put my Q&A box up, literally like 3 people asked me a question and I was like I'll just DM the answer, like we don't need to do an entire YouTube video. First thing that someone has asked me is house hunting update, any exciting Alphalite updates. Basically updates. I've also been asked for updates on my car. We are in my car. This is probably going to be one of my last like sit down chatty videos in this car because she has to go back in December. We're in September now, end of September, so I've really only got 2 months left with this car. It has been a dream to have this car. She's on PCP finance, so she's not mine, and she is due back in 2 months time, so she will be going back. And I've sort of kind of been documenting the car hunt in vlogs, kind of not, kind of documenting on Instagram, kind of not. But the issue that I've run into is cars have just gotten, I'm not saying that this car wasn't expensive, but if I wanted to get this car now, it's 4 figures a month. I pay nowhere near 4 figures a month for this car, and I just don't see myself ever paying 4 figures a month for a car. Like that is just too much money. Like I cannot afford to do 4 figures a month on a car. Even if I wanted to get like Q3, which is still a lovely car, I don't want this to come across as I'm being like a Q3, but a Q3 is a much lesser car. Like the on the road value of a Q3 is 50% of what this was worth when I got it. A Q3 is more expensive a month now than this was when I got it. The math is not mathing, and PCP has just gotten really expensive. I know that there's always been an interest rate on it and you've always technically been overpaying, but it's just gotten so expensive. I haven't found a car that I love, and because I know that a car is something to get you from A to B, but because the cars I've been looking at, it's still quite a lot of money to be spending on a car, even though they are cheaper. It's kind of blowing my balls that I would be spending that much money on something that I'm not really that fussed about. In a weird turn of events, I may actually end up getting my mum's Ford Fiesta, or of not having monthly payments on a car is kind of a dream right now. I'm not 100% decided on what I'm doing, but my mum's considering getting a smaller car, which is crazy because I feel like a Ford Fiesta is a small car. I don't know what my mum wants, if she wants like a one-man smart car, but to each their own. She's very kindly said that if she does get a smaller car, she's happy for me to take hers. Kind of still looking, but I may actually end up just doing my... There's kids outside my car. I feel like they're gonna bully me. Please don't clock the camera. Luckily, it's absolutely pissing it down, so I feel like I've got a bit of protection on my windows. Might be getting my mum's Ford Fiesta in a strange turn of events. The biggest update that I have is, oh, I'm so torn between sharing it in this video and sharing it in my vlog, because I cannot express how much of a whirlwind next week's vlog is. It all happened so quickly, but as of literally 48 hours ago, I have bought a house. Right, I was very apprehensive about sharing because I bought a house before last Christmas time. I bought a house and then it fell through because they accepted my offer and then they decided to accept a higher offer. I'm not really sure how that works. I get it, it's your house, you can do what you want, but in my opinion that should be illegal. If you've accepted someone's offer, I think that should be legally binding. In that scenario, I hadn't started paying like solicitors fees and paying things out. I think I'd paid like £50 for like a check for something, like this like database thing, but I hadn't paid another single penny, luckily. So I'm kind of being conflicted about sharing it, just because I know things can go wrong with that. Seller might pull out and decide they don't want to sell anymore. My survey might come back and it might say like this house is like non-viable, do not buy this house. The mortgage company could say it's not worth whatever I've paid for it, and then if the seller doesn't want to accept a lower price, then it could fall through. Like, there are so many things that could go wrong that I was like, I don't want to share it until I've got the keys in my hand. But then I realized, like, I do kind of share my life online with you guys. I feel like you only ever see, and I did very much document what happened with the last house. I was very upset and I made it quite clear I was quite upset. You only see when it's all gone through. Like, you don't see that interim, you don't see how much stuff happens. So I've decided I'm actually just going to document the full thing. Ripping the band-aid off in this video. I've alluded to it on Instagram. Not that anyone really needs to give a shit, like, it's my house, like no one needs to give a fuck about this any more than I do. I am hoping, fingers crossed, praying that nothing goes wrong, but I have decided to just rip the band-aid off and share the news because I feel like I want to document the process, and I am documenting the process. Like, I'm gonna try and film. Let me know if you guys think this is a good idea, but I've decided I'm gonna order a different memory card and basically film from now to when I get the keys for that house, fingers crossed, every little stage, all the little bits in between. I'm being super transparent about costs for solicitors, surveys, all that sort of stuff. So if you think that would be helpful, it'll sort of basically be filmed over months, and then I would post it as like my house buying process, my buying a house vlog, I guess. I could even put some moving bits in there, I don't know. Yeah, I was sort of umming and ahhing about sharing it, but then I just realised, like, this is probably going to be something that's quite hard not to talk about because, you know, I might be buying furniture, I might be buying other things, and I do want to share the full process because I don't feel like enough people do. Yeah, I have bought a house, which is really exciting. I won't spoil it completely. I will leave quite a bit of it to next week's vlog, but I think people will be shocked the type of house that I have ended up going for, because I really have been like up and down the mill when it comes to houses. Started off being like, no, I don't want a new build, only looking at older houses. Then I looked at not super old houses but like slightly newer houses. Then I was looking at new builds like off plot. Then I was looking at new builds that were a few years old, looking at older houses again, then looking at new builds. Like, I've really explored all my options over the past year. It's been a year in the making, a year in hunting, but everyone kept saying to me, you'll know when you go in there. So I'm not gonna ruin it. I will show pictures in next week's vlog, but I'm not going to ruin it in this one because otherwise I feel like it makes this vlog slightly redundant. It's not the only thing I've got going on in the vlog, but it is a big axis of it because I've been filming whilst it's all been going on. Leave some suspense in there if anyone actually gives a fuck. No one probably does. And I am counting my lucky stars that the house I bought last year didn't go through, because that house was £40,000 more than the one I've just got for 500 or 600 square foot less of a house. Everyone kept saying to me, and it's been doing my head in, everyone kept saying everything happens for a reason, like it'll all work out, like there's a reason why this hasn't happened. And because it had happened with a few houses where I ended up missing out, or like offers got rejected or all that sort of stuff, I was getting really frustrated with people saying that. So I hate that I'm about to say it, but I really am looking back at that house that I could have nearly bought last year, and they rang me up a few months later saying that seller has fallen through, would you like to reinstate your offer? And I declined because I trust the seller at that point. I was like, no, I really don't trust you to not do it to me again. I hate to say it because I was finding it so annoying, people saying it to me, but genuinely, guys, everything happens for a reason, and I am counting my lucky stars that that did not work out, because this house is perfect and also not what I expected myself to go for at all at the same time. Everything sort of aligned basically. Biggest update is that I am, fingers crossed, going to be a homeowner. Like, my offer's accepted, I've got the memorandum of sale, the solicitors have got the ball rolling, my survey is booked in, it's all a go, but these things take a long time, so I might not be in there for months and things could go wrong. But I'm going to document that. I document most things, not everything, but I do document most things, and I want to be very open and honest with that. So yeah guys, I've bought a house. I would also like to say it is definitely not the norm to be able to buy a house alone at 26, and the only reason, like the sole reason I have been so fortunate enough to be in the position that I am in, to be able to do this on my own, which I am so grateful for, is because of you guys. So I really, genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, I know I say it all the time and I probably sound really fucking annoying and whiny for it and like, shut up you soppy little bitch. Thank you so much, because if it wasn't for my coaching client, Alphalite, you guys who support me with Alphalite, you guys who watch my videos, everything, you are the reason why I have been able to achieve this. And it's something I never ever could have thought I would be able to achieve, because I always just assumed my first home I would have to buy it with someone else. Not that that's a bad thing, it's definitely not a bad thing, and if you're with the right person, go for it. But I never even dreamt that there would be a world in which I would be able to have a house in my own name. And because of my previous living situations, like I've been in situations where, you know, contributed towards someone else's home, contributed towards someone else's mortgage, had things sort of like, you know, held over my head, being kicked out of the house late at night to the point where I've got to go and pay hundreds for a hotel last minute just so that I don't have to go home and basically explain to my mum and dad what's gone on. Having something in my own name that is mine, that no one can ever hold against me, like it's 100% mine, means so much to me for so many reasons, and it's because of you guys that I've been able to achieve that. So genuinely, sorry, I keep thinking that there's someone like stood at the side of my car. Genuinely, thank you so fucking much. Like, I would not be able to achieve any of this without you guys. So I really want to document the process, take you guys through with it. I know that because I'm doing it on my own, maybe some people won't be able to relate to that, but hopefully there will be something helpful within the videos for you guys. And for moving content, for house content, what do you guys want to know? What information would you find helpful? I want to be as transparent as possible without obviously like overstepping like my privacy when it comes to things like that. So do let me know what content you guys want to see around that. I'm super fucking excited. And again, just genuinely thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, because I can't even say it's a dream come true, because like I said, I never dreamed of owning a home on my own, in my own name, because I just did not think that would ever be a thing, because it's very difficult, and I am so incredibly fortunate. That is probably my biggest update. In terms of any exciting Alphalite updates, no, I actually don't really have any. There is potentially a trip planned, something with them in the next few weeks, but that's not been booked, it's not confirmed yet, so I don't have any exciting news to share. I'm also sort of like, I don't know what's going to happen next year. Obviously we all renew our contracts or don't renew our contracts, whatever people choose to do, or whatever Alphalite chooses to do, because obviously it's up to them who they still want to work with. It comes up every January, which is the worst, because I feel like it really ruins my Christmas and New Year, because I just get so anxious about it. I'm intrigued to see how that pans out. I'm intrigued to see if like the roles are going to be continued next year. I don't know. I think I've made it quite clear, like the role has definitely not been what I thought it would be, but I would really want to build on that. Like, what I really want is like more involvement with the design process, basically. I would really love that. Like, that is like the dream, and I feel like maybe we just need a little bit more time. But I also understand they may want to, for fairness, like rotate people through roles, so I don't know if I will be able to keep that in January. I don't know what's going to happen. And someone in my questions did ask when you guys will start to see like my input with Alphalite. I don't actually know. I would say you will start to see my input with Alphalite when we have multiple options for things, when we have some full-length fitted tops, when we have full-length jackets, when not everything is high hip. Still keep the high hip options, still keep the crop options, but let's add in some full length stuff. Let's add in some women specific fitted joggers. Let's add in some beautiful light heather greys. Let's add in some, you know, really good colour palettes. I feel like sometimes the colour palette, they're not bad, but sometimes they can be a little bit lacking when you start seeing options. So like a drop isn't just one rise option, it's multiple rise options, and you can get every colour in each rise option. Better sort of like athleisure, sort of lounge wear. If you start seeing those things that's when you're going to start to see my impact feedback come into fruition. But unfortunately, I don't know when that will be. Okay, work schmirk, let's move on to some more interesting questions. Being nosy, but would love to know the story of how you and Twinkle Toes met, is if possible. Not nosy at all, it's through the gym. Basically, he started working at the gym that I go to, and I remember walking in one day and being like, I'd not been in a couple of weeks, I was like, who the hell is that? Tattoos on one arm. Oh, I've always been a bit of a fiend for a man with ink. It was his arm that drew me in, and I was like, who is that? And then I saw his face and I was like, you've got a really pretty face. Like, if you've seen Twinkle, by the way, I'm not trying to be secretive, there is many a Freudian slip where I will let his name go. So many people have found him on Instagram, which kind of crazy because I've never tagged him in anything. I'm not trying to be like super secretive, it's just at this point it's just the bit, and I'm very committed to the bit, and that's all it is. Everyone always says whenever I post pictures of us two, they either say it about both of us or they only say it about him. Not sure what that says about me, but I get quite a lot of messages saying that we've both got quite kind looking eyes, like we've both got kind eyes, and I feel like I've never really heard of that phrase before until now, but now I see it. Like, he definitely has just like a kind looking face, like kind eyes. Girls, let me put you on, if you have a gym crush, this is what you need to do, because technically I made the first move without, I didn't tell him for months after that I'd done that on purpose, so it was like super secretive. Tagged the gym, if you know you know, I feel like we've all done it, we've all been there, there's no shame in the game. Tagged the gym in an Instagram story, like a selfie story, so that I would know, he would know it's me. They reshared it much within like 5-10 minutes. He'd followed me on Instagram, and then when I found his Instagram I realised I've known his brother since I was like 16 from going out in Leeds, so it's definitely giving invisible string. Like, and also I trained his brother's girlfriend, so like there's been this like weird invisible string this entire fucking time, and I had no idea that this person that I knew had a brother, so it was kind of crazy. He followed me, and then basically we didn't say anything for months. Like, I'd bump into him in the gym, and I'm quite shy, he was quite shy, like, but he didn't look like the sort of person to be shy. Also maybe why people think like all my life people have been like, oh, like she just looks really stuck up and rude. People expect certain people based off the way that they look to be super confident and super forthcoming, and because he looks like he should be confident but he wasn't, I just thought he was a bit of a wanker. I was like, oh, you're gonna be such a dickhead. And he messaged me on Instagram being like, oh my god, like if I'm in the background make sure I don't look like super bad. And then from then we've spoken every single day since, and that was how it started. He asked me to go for a coffee. That was our first date. I know that some people don't believe in coffee first dates, I personally do. I know that people have got a real rod up their ass at the moment about like princess treatment and all this sort of stuff, but I cannot think of anything worse than not knowing someone well, just personal preference, and their first date idea being us going and sitting at like a really stush restaurant, like awkwardly sat opposite each other. I can't think of anything worse, to be honest. I would rather do something chill like a coffee or a walk or an activity, because I just think you're gonna get to know someone so much better that way. And also when you're doing something more relaxed, there's none of this like I need to like put on a show. Like, I feel like when you go out for a meal, all this like, oh, let me like, and obviously like he does still to this day. He always opens my car door, I don't touch a car door, he always closes my car door, he helps me with everything, he always pulls my chairs out for me. I just feel like when you get off on that sort of like bravado, it's like a bravado foot almost, I don't know, it makes me uncomfortable. So yeah, we went for a coffee and then started going on dates, more and more dates, and then became, and we've nearly been together for an entire year now, which is crazy. But yeah, we met through the gym, and it was very much giving invisible string, because I have known, and I've known quite a few of his friends as well from when I used to go out all the time. It's kind of spooky, and I really do believe it was kind of meant to be, because if our paths had have crossed any earlier, it wouldn't have been a thing for obvious reasons. So the fact that I've had all these connections where it would have been so easy for me to be aware of his existence or know him or meet him or bump into him, and I never did until I was in a position where that could be a thing, that's kind of fucking crazy to me. And it does make me believe in the spooky dooky stuff a little bit more, not gonna lie. So yeah, that is the story. Sorry, my memory card cut out, so I had to just clear stuff off it. But yeah, that is a story of how me and Twinkle Toes met. Beauty favourites, body care, perfumes, etc. And then someone else has said, what's one beauty / skincare product you'll never stop buying? I always eventually will move on to something different. Even if something's a really good product, I like trying new things. But I would say at the moment, something that I keep buying more and more and more of, which you'll know if you've been watching my vlogs, it's the Inkilist Exosome Glow Complex Serum. Love it so much. Like, I've gone through about 7 tubes of it, which is kind of embarrassing because I think it's only been out for like 6 months. I've gone through so many tubes of it. I have no issues with it. It's not causing any issues for my skin, which if you know, you know. I've got perioral dermatitis, and ever since I like contracted that, I've been so careful with what I'm putting on my skin because it just really stresses me out. Like, it really does stress me out. And it feels like any little thing can irritate my skin now, and my skin's never been like that before. The Exosome Complex is just amazing for my skin, and I really love it. And it just feels so hydrating without being heavy, and I've used it consistently whether my perioral dermatitis is flaring up or not. I'm not going to say it makes it better, but it definitely doesn't make it worse. And my god, I've become aware of when a product is making it worse. Also, the Korres White Pine Eye Cream. When my perioral dermatitis comes up, if you're a skin person, maybe you'll know, but it comes up here, and then I always end up getting a rash around my eye, which was really dry. Then that combined with the sun, I started getting like a permanent set line. So I bought the Korres White Pine Eye Cream, which is for menopausal women, but hey, if it works, it works, okay? If it works, it works, and if it ain't broken, don't fix it. Bought that from a pharmacy. Guys, night and day flipping difference. That stuff is incredible. Body care and stuff. Something that I would rebuy, probably the EOS Vanilla Cashmere, but the tub. Ever since I tried the tub, I've not actually used the lotion since. The lotion is definitely better if you like lighter, but I love how thick the tub is. It's a bit more oily, it leaves a bit more of a glow on the skin, and I really like that. The Space NK Caribbean Shores body oil I've been really enjoying as like a body care combination at the moment. In terms of perfumes, I feel like I have so many. At the moment, I'm really enjoying my Valaya exclusive, just such a nice clean scent. I did order a bunch of samples the other day, and I've actually been really enjoying both of the new Kayali scents. Are really good. The chocolate one smells like Angel Share by Kilian. Milky Musk Oud smells like Blanche Bet, but Blanche Bet, and like I've got the dupe of it, the Taskeen one, it can make me feel a bit sick. There's something in the Kayali one that's not as nauseating to me, so I've really been enjoying those. For like new recommendations that I've not mentioned before, I've really been enjoying my samples of those two at the moment. I'm kind of tempted to get the big bottle of both, but obviously I'm trying to buy a house, and I'm so scared of spending money right now because I'm scared of it messing with my mortgage application. Like, what are things that I really need to avoid? If you are in the know, please tell me, because I feel like otherwise I'm literally not gonna buy anything other than my food shop because I'm so scared of it messing with my mortgage application. And it's the worst time of year to be doing it as well, because everyone and their grandma's birthday is this time of year. Like, my sister's birthday is literally in like 2 weeks, and I really want to go all out for this birthday. She's pregnant at the moment. She's obviously super exciting. I feel like sometimes when you're pregnant, I don't think most of my family will, but I'm kind of worried that like some people will just get her baby related presents. And I just feel like, and I did actually speak to my sister about it, so she did confirm that she does want stuff for herself as well. Sorry if you can hear the rain. Hopefully it's some nice ASMR. I don't know. Oh god, it's getting a little bit heavy. But I did speak to my sister about this, and she did confirm she does want stuff for herself, not just baby stuff. Obviously, if her request was baby stuff, I'll get her baby stuff. People just end up getting anything for them. They just get gifts for the baby. I feel like sometimes the mum gets quite forgotten about. So I really want to make sure that I go all out for her birthday. So this is what I mean. I'm scared to spend money at the moment, but also I've got so many important birthdays. Like, both my best friends' birthdays are also this time of year. If anyone has any tips on that, let me know. What is a hobby that I secretly want to try? I feel like it's not a secret, but I would love to try Pilates. Like, actual like reformer Pilates, I would love to try. I also really want to try paddle. Basically, I am a basic bitch sheep who follows trends. I'd like to have a crack at making pottery. That looks really fucking fun. I would really like to go and do that. I would also really like to learn to ride a horse. I think I'm too scared to do it. Like, I am very risk averse when it comes to my bones and my body. If I am not able to go to the gym, I'm kind of screwed in terms of work, to be completely honest. So I'm just really scared of breaking anything. Try horse riding. I would actually really, I don't think I ever will because I'm too scared to do it, but I would love to try horse riding. I just think that looks so fun, and I always used to play Pippa's Funnel on my Nintendo DS when I was younger. How do you deal with comparison? Great question. I feel like most of the advice online is normally to remind people that everything that you see isn't real, but me and my friend Alicia were discussing this the other day, and this might be a hot take, but I do know that the reminders are coming from a good place and with the best possible intentions. And I think there is a place for those reminders of, like, you know, some people might be like up to their eyeballs in Klarna debt. Some people might be in miserable relationships but making out they're really happy. Some people might be you know, they've got this lovely house and lovely car, but they can't really afford it and they're almost going broke every month trying to maintain and upkeep the image. I feel like if that's your way of dealing with comparison, like basically convincing yourself that everyone else is broke, miserable, and basically nothing is what it seems online, I don't think that's fixing the inner issue, if that makes sense. I feel like actually it's quite sad that we as humans almost want to believe that other people are miserable so that we feel better about our lives. Like, that shouldn't really make... I get why it does make people feel better. I don't necessarily think it's right. If there's ever something that comes up where I start thinking like, oh, they've got that, or like, I'd really like that, instead of sort of either trying to convince myself they don't have that, or they're lying, or even though those reminders are sometimes important, more so like to use it as inspiration. I feel like since I stopped comparison, because you're always going to compare, but if you can take something positive from it, I think that's just a much better way of doing things. Because for me, when I had to believe that everyone is faking it and nothing's real, it didn't make me feel any better. It just didn't. Like, it's not fixing my issues, it's basically just projecting my issues onto other people that I don't know. Ever since I started looking at comparison as more of room for inspiration, night and day difference. So basically the way I deal with comparison is it's impossible to not compare, so make sure that when you are doing it, you're using it in a positive way where possible. And it won't always be possible because we're not perfect, and sometimes, you know, that inner feeling of like, oh my god, but like I'm just so pissed off that I don't have that, or I'm really sad because I would really love that and I don't have it, and I'm sad that I don't have it. It'll always creep in, but try and use it as sort of like positive inspiration rather than something negative or something to feel really bad about. Best life advice you have ever received, and also any tips from therapy. And the best life advice I have ever received is also a tip from therapy. Basically, I have been in many situations in my life multiple times where I know things aren't right. I know things are wrong. I know I'm not happy. I know I deserve better, whether it's work, relationships, whatever it is. I'm someone who I will wait for things to get so bad that I feel like I have no other choice than to end it. I basically remove any autonomy from my life and basically wait for things to get so bad, or wait for someone else to pull the plug on a relationship, a friendship, something to do with work, whatever it is. There is a pattern of me doing that in my life, and I think that partly because I definitely do have like a fear of like, what if I regret things, and I also really never want to hurt people's feelings as well. I think that's also a big part of it. But sometimes in not wanting to hurt people's feelings, as much as this is a very bitter pill to swallow, you end up hurting people's feelings a lot more by not just being completely honest with things. Basically, my therapist explained it to me that I think she called it like a landmine theory. And she was like, so you in this relationship, for example, you in this relationship is like you stood on top of a landmine, and you're so scared to move in a different direction to end the relationship, or to bring something up to them that's been really bothering you or really upsetting you, or to put your foot down a little bit more. So scared to do anything because you are thinking like you would if you were stood on top of a landmine. It's a very eggshell situation. You feel like, or you've convinced yourself that you could blow up your life by making a different decision. It's technically true, like there is like an element of truth to that, like it will change things in your life. However, all of that does not negate the fact that, I feel like this sounds so dumb when I say it out loud, but it makes sense to me. None of that negates the fact that you are currently stood on top of a landmine. You are currently in quite a dangerous situation, and just because it's like a comfortable, dangerous situation, it doesn't make it any less dangerous, because things could still blow up from underneath you, if that makes sense. I'm hoping that makes sense. And that basically, that analogy very much gave me the courage in certain areas of my life to go in a different direction. I knew things were wrong. I knew I wasn't happy. I knew things weren't right, really struggling to cope with and really struggling to live with, basically. But I was so scared of making a decision that I'd convinced myself staying in a comfortable shit situation was easier and safer than going in a different direction, and it wasn't. And that is the best advice I've ever received, because it helped me in that scenario, but now I apply it to other scenarios as well. And when I say it genuinely saved my life, I'm not taking the piss. And I don't mean that in a like I was gonna die sort of way. You can literally spend your entire life in unhappy work relationships, unhappy romantic relationships, unhappy dynamics with friends, unhappy dynamics with family members. Unhappiness is comfortable to you. It's comfortable. There's not going to be any uprooting of your life. There's not going to be any big change by just staying in it. but that doesn't necessarily mean it's safe to do so, nor is it a good idea. It saved me from a life of misery. It changed my life completely, and now it changes the way I look at all scenarios in my life, because I will never ever 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 stay in a comfortable but unsafe and unhappy situation ever again. Like, it's always worth the risk of trying something else, in my opinion. Biggest lesson you have learned in the past year: do what I want to do, basically, and not worry so much about what other people are thinking. Because, for example, my relationship, if I had worried what other people were thinking, I would have said no to the dates, because I would have been like, it's too soon, like everyone's going to say it's too soon, even though I really wanted to go. I would have not gone into that relationship because I would have thought, well, people are going to say like, well, she's just jumped from one to the other. Even though anyone that knows me in my personal life knows I usually have massive gaps between relationships. Like, I've never been the person to jump from person to person. Like, I've just never done it. Like I said, it was very spooky timing. And also last year, someone that I knew, which I've spoken about before, did pass away completely unexpectedly, and he was only a year older than me, and that really put so much into perspective in life for me. Because why on earth am I gonna deny myself of feeling true love, like true, genuine, proper, kind, caring, considerate love for the first time ever in my life, just because a handful of people might think, oh, well, she clearly never cared, or she's a bitch, or she's moved on too soon, or oh god, like she's jumped from person to person. Because I also know that if I sat down with those people and explained to them the last few years of my life, they would never say the things that they are saying, if that makes sense. So I feel like the biggest lesson for me in the past year has just been to block out external noise and not worry about it too much. I will always care about what my family and friends think, always. Like, I will always care about what the people closest to me think, but everyone closest to me was like, look, if it feels okay for you, it feels okay for you, and go for it. So that would probably be my biggest lesson. And I know it's really wishy-washy to be like, well, don't care what other people think. Yeah, it's definitely easier said than done, but I feel like until you have a scenario where you're like, no, like I really want this for myself, fuck everyone else, you don't get to like action it. So that would probably be my biggest lesson in the past year. That, and everything happens for a reason. Because like I said, going back to the house situation, counting my lucky stars that that house sale did not go through. If I could swap lives with another influencer for a week, who and why? I read through these questions with Twinkle Toes yesterday, and I was like, that's a really good question. Melissa's wardrobe, if you are not following her, get to know. She is so influential, it's crazy. And she's a prime example of why trust with your audience is so fucking important. When I say only, I don't mean it as in it's mediocre, but she's only got 380k on Instagram, which actually isn't that much in the grand scheme of things. She announced her new company via Instagram stories, not even a main feed post on her main page, via Instagram stories, and within a day she had 10k. Within 2 days, 2 or 3 days, she had 20k. She now has over 20,000 followers, and we don't even know what the business is yet. The amount of influence she holds, I would just love to walk a day in her shoes and just see what it's like, because I just think she is phenomenal. She is by far, in my opinion, the best influencer that we have available to us at this current time. And she actually has influence. Like, if she posts a link, that thing is not going to be there within an hour. It will be completely sold out. She is a phenomenal influencer, and she needs to be studied. I want someone to do like a PhD on her influence. She is an icon. That would be the influencer that I would swap lives with for a day or a week, because I just think, how does it feel to hold that much power? Like, she is so influential, it's crazy. And if I ever was lucky enough to have my own brand, she would be top of my list for someone that I would want to wear my brand or use my brand. She should be at the top of everyone's list. The next question is, do I believe in soulmate? Yes and no. I don't believe that we have one soulmate. I believe that we have multiple, in the form of family, friends, romantic. My brain works too logically. The chances of you only having one person you're meant to be with, or one person you're meant to meet in your life, in a planet that has this many people on it, is very, very, very slim and very unlikely. So I definitely think we have multiple soulmates, because I feel like platonic soulmates are often skipped over, but I really do believe, I believe a lot of people have a lot more platonic soulmates in life than they do romantic, and they should be celebrated just as much. Taking a break from hip thrusts, so alternative exercises. That I love how we've gone from soulmates to hip thrusts, but hey, we do range over here. I've taken a break from hip thrusts, so alternative exercises that hit the same muscles, please. It's quite a hard question to answer. There are so many movements that you can do to hit your glutes. You can do Bulgarians, RDLs, back extensions, kickback, single leg glute bridges, all this other stuff. With hip thrusts, there isn't like a straight swap that's going to work your glutes in the exact same way and be able to load it. So with a hip thrust, you're working your glutes in the shortened position the most, at like full hip extension, full lockout. And there are other movements that you can use your glutes in the shortened position. So like a kickback, you're going to use your glutes in the shortened position, a back extension, shortened position, but you can't load them with the same amount of weight, which is why it's quite a hard question to answer. Not going to hit your muscles in the same way, but in terms of like your bang for buck movements, I would strongly recommend things like RDLs, Bulgarians, step ups, lunge variations that are done with like more of a glute bias. Those would be the sort of things that I would be subbing that out for, because I think if you just sub hip thrust for kickback, you're not going to get the bang for your buck because you can't load them as much as you can the others, and it will limit your progressive overload and it will limit your mechanical tension that you're able to place on the muscles. But in terms of like it works the muscles the exact same way, not really, but there never is for any movement. Like a movement is separate because it works the muscles in a different way, if that makes sense. So hopefully, quickly and helpfully answered your question. Guys, it's getting quite dark. I think I'm gonna have to answer these questions quite fast. Winter outfit staple, Uggs or like a boo. I do like an Ugg. I've got my mini Uggs on right now, but you do not, I repeat, you do not need to go and buy a new pair of Uggs if you already have one from last year. And if you have to buy new Uggs every single year because your Uggs have gone to shit, I would suggest we maybe stop buying Uggs. There is no reason to be spending over £100 on a pair of shoe and you are only getting 1 year out of them. But I do like an Ugg or a boot, like something that's just going to be a bit warmer on the foot. And then my outfit last winter was literally a black wool long coat, and I would highly recommend investing in, it doesn't have to be black, but some form of long coat. I know that everyone's getting suede this year and I do really like them, but do ask yourself, do you like the suede because you like it, or do you like the suede because it's trending at the moment? Because if you're not going to want to wear it when no one else is wearing it anymore, I wouldn't recommend that you go and spend like £100+ on a suede basically trench coat. I think wool much more timeless if that's not, how do I explain this? Because anything is timeless if you genuinely like it and you're going to wear it forever. But I think in terms of trend, a wool coat or like the sort of like rain ones, like an actual trench coat, those in my opinion are more timeless. But a long coat, last year I wore the most basic outfits. I was wearing baggy jeans and like a tight fitted top, leggings and a tight fitted top. But with the coat is basically the outfit. I would probably say that's the #1 thing. A big long coat is so staple because it keeps you warm, it's comfortable, and it basically makes the outfit. It doesn't really matter too much what you put on under it. Even when I went down to London earlier in the year, I wore a tracksuit. Mine's from Mango, by the way. If you were looking for suggestions, Mango does really good coats. I would highly recommend checking them out. Mine was Mango and I wore it over a tracksuit, and even though I had a tracksuit on underneath, it looked cool as fuck because I had this long coat over the top. It took a tracksuit from looking slightly like a bit of a mess. Somehow I looked like an undercover celebrity, so I would probably put that #1 on the list. A long coat in whatever fabric you feel is going to work best for you. I think wool, whatever you think is going to work best for you. And also on that note, guys, the autumn wish list and all this sort of stuff, please do not feel all like, what shoes are we wearing this autumn, what blah 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 are we wearing this winter, what colour are we wearing this winter? I've seen so much of it on TikTok. Please, 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 there is no shame in wearing what you wore last year. If you need new stuff or you want new stuff and that brings you joy, go out, do it. Please don't feel that you need to redo your wardrobe every single year based off what people are wearing that year. I can tell you now, what I'll be wearing this winter is my long coat that I bought last year, my puffer coat that I've had for a long time, my Uggs that I bought last year, the trainers that I wore last year. Most of the things I'm going to be wearing this winter, things that I bought last year. I bought a burgundy hat last year, probably going to rinse that. I got a burgundy a burgundy jumper for Christmas last year. I will be rinsing that through this winter. I've already worn it twice. Winter outfit staples question done. Moving on. What would your dream activewear company look like? Question mark. Clothing, colours, brand ethos. I'm assuming this is like if I made my own. My dream activewear company would be hinged upon options and having options for everyone, having something for everyone. You know, your itty bitty sports bras, your moderate sports bras, and then being able to accommodate for high support sports bras. Making sure there is something for everyone, because it goes without saying, there is no single product that is going to work for everyone, and that is something that I truly do believe. Multiple rise options, multiple inseams, short, regular and long as a minimum. I feel like this sort of feeds into like the ethos. The ethos would be built around basically having options for everyone, making sure that you can can support people through whatever it is that they're going through, whatever sort of activity they like to do. So you've got stuff that you can do weight training in, you've got the stuff that you can sort of wear in the gym but wear outside of the gym, you've got the stuff that you can do your hybrid, all your like really athletic, like high rocks running sort of stuff in. Basically trying to make sure we've got a little bit of something for everyone, so that basically you could use that brand as a one-stop shop. And even sort of venturing out into like tracksuits and stuff, that would be probably the dream in terms of like the ethos. Let me read the question again. Obviously I love like a funky design from time to time, but I would want to focus on timeless silhouettes. Like, yes, obviously trying out new designs from time to time, but timeless silhouettes, making sure that things fit nicely, making sure you've got a mixture of more fitted things and looser things, putting quality at like the forefront of the brand, making sure, I feel like I spoke about it earlier, but making sure you've got your full length options, cropped options, your high hip sort of meet and greet length options, and making sure that we're not just doing one length for jackets, we're doing two. Basically very, very, very basic stuff. I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't be the most adventurous out there person with it, but making sure basically that you have got high quality pieces that are built to last. Would really want to put emphasis on the products being so high quality that these are really built to last. These are going to last you years and years and years. These are going to hold up within your workouts, and basically having like a high trust between the brand and the customer, that they know what they're ordering, the sizing is good, the communication is good, the marketing is good, and the product basically would speak for itself. I really do respect any influencer, anyone in general who makes a brand where there are people who will wear and buy from that brand that don't even know who that influencer is, because they have made a brand, built a brand and built a product. It just stands for itself basically, it speaks for itself. That's basically, that would be the dream if I was to have an activewear company. I'm an autumn palette and like the rich tones, so like good neutrals, chocolatey browns, warm chocolatey browns, neutral browns, plummy browns, burgundies, rich deep purple tones, rich deep navies. Sometimes a burnt orange I can be quite partial to. Hot green from Alphalite is probably one of my favourite greens. Those sort of rich shades and neutrals. Like I would love like sand. Obviously I would have to make my own version of sand. Light neutrals, darker neutrals, mid-tone neutrals. And then obviously for summer you are going to have to do the colours for the girls. And I feel like activewear is really lacking in like oranges, aquas and different purples. I feel like purple is a colour that is not explored enough in activewear. All the purples can be quite samey. Like ultraviolet from Alphalite was such a good purple for that reason. Aqua blue, I feel like I never see that in activewear, and that would just be so stunning in my opinion. Corally sort of shades, I really like a corally undertoned red, and the ethos, like I said, it's sort of built into the product. That would be the main thing probably, is that the ethos is backed by the product and the product is backed by the ethos. Like we're not just saying we're a really inclusive brand but then we only offer one rise option and one length option, and we only accommodate for small chests or we only accommodate for large chests. Making sure that the ethos and what we're saying we're doing is really matching with the product. Help with gaining weight in my tummy. I have narrow hips as well and it's so hard. So basically you can't choose where you gain weight. I also love that you want to gain weight in your stomach, because I feel like so many women are scared of doing that. Really annoying for me to tell you this, because you cannot choose where you gain weight. But if you eat in a surplus for long enough, eat in like a 10% surplus, and if you do it for long enough, you will eventually gain weight everywhere, and one of those areas will be your midsection. The only thing to keep in mind is if you don't intend on holding that weight and you want to get rid of it, the last place where weight goes to will be the first place it comes off when you do a cut. You will reach a point where you will realise that, you know, if you have to put on 40 pounds before any weight goes to your stomach, how that makes you feel everywhere else, you really need to consider that, because if you are uncomfortable with every other part of your body but that area, it might not be worth it. So it's definitely worth weighing up the options. But essentially, if you eat in a surplus for long enough, you will eventually gain weight everywhere. It will be a case of, is that worth it for you? I think sometimes we do so much to run away from our natural build that we actually end up disliking. There might be one, so you, for example, you might dislike your midsection and you might really want to gain weight in that area, but you might try so hard to gain weight in that area that there might be 7 things that you do really like about your body. You can't see them anymore, or they're not really visible anymore because you've gone so hard in that direction to gain the weight in the one place. Does that make sense? So now you're happy with your stomach, but the 7 things that you really liked about your body now don't exist anymore. It's definitely worth weighing those things up, and I don't think it's something that's spoken about enough. So I'm hoping that makes sense. Okay, final 2 questions, because then I'm gonna go, because this rain is getting worse and worse. Used to train 5 times a week, then had a baby, so I've not trained at all for 1 year. Can maybe get childcare for 1 session a week. Is it worth it? Feel like you won't be able to do much in a session, but you miss it. 100%. I know even if it's only 1 session, I'm not promising that you're going to see crazy results, but if you miss it, especially being a new mum, I feel like giving that time to yourself when you can is so worth it. It will always be worth it. You might not see the craziest progress in terms of physicalness, in terms of your physical appearance, but there are other things that you can do. You know, you can work on your nutrition, you can do things that don't involve necessarily going to a gym. But if you are missing training and you're a new mum and you've got the funds to be able to get childcare 1 time a week, to give yourself that time, and that's how you want to go and spend your time, don't let the fact that 1 session a week won't turn you into Tammy Hembro put you off, because it's still really important to go and move your body and do something that you love, especially when you're a new mum. So I vote 100%. Even if it's not going to yield the craziest result, it will do a lot for your mind, which is often overlooked. So 100%, 10 out of 10, yes. How do I deal with gym creeps? Final question. I honestly don't. There's not that many creeps in my gym. I go to a super small gym. All the members sort of know the staff, like I know the staff. So it would be you'd have to be a very bold personality to come in and be a creep in there, because everyone knows everyone and it's a very friendly space. Used to go to commercial bigger gyms. I had to deal with gym creeps a lot. I know that sometimes people don't always feel safe doing so, and to be honest, a lot of the times the gyms wouldn't always do something. I would complain, and then if nothing changed, I would end up moving gyms, and I did move gyms quite a few times. Especially if people are getting phones out and videoing and taking photos, please, 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 please complain. Not happened in a long time, but apparently there was someone at my gym I go to now who clocked someone filming them, and they got kicked out of the gym straight away. They got their membership banned, they're never allowed to come back, and they've never been back since. If you're struggling with this a lot, I would highly recommend trying to seek out a smaller, very like community based gym, because it's a lot less prevalent in smaller gyms because everyone knows everyone. So I would highly recommend seeking out smaller gyms, because since I moved to mine, I've had no issues whatsoever. Like, it's literally been completely fine. I've had the odd person come up to me and try to chat me up, but it's never been done in a creepy way or a weird way. And as soon as I say not interested, or I've got a boyfriend, which obviously I do now, they leave me alone, and then we just smile at each other in the gym and it's fine. They don't make it weird. Yes, I would highly recommend seeking out a smaller, more like community focused gym, because you will have way less of those problems. I promise you that. Okay, I'm gonna leave this video here. I feel like I've answered so many random questions in this video. We've literally gone from perfume and body care to do I believe in soulmates, to how me and my boyfriend met, to house updates, to hip thrust alternatives, to gaining weight. But it's just been so nice to just sit and yap, basically, which I know I do quite a lot of in my vlogs, but I feel like it's sometimes in my vlogs I will cut things out, cut excess out, or avoid talking about certain stuff just because it feels like it's just going to make the vlog even longer than they already are, which I know that people love the long vlogs, but I'm not going to be posting like a 3-hour one. Like, I can't do this within a vlog, because then the vlog is going to be like 3 hours. It is a little bit of a filler video, I'm not going to lie. I do apologise, but I hope it's still been now nice to sort of sit down, catch up. Hopefully I've answered some of your questions. I tried to pick like helpful ones as well as personal ones, so that you guys, you know, can get to know me a little bit more, but also I do want to provide value on this YouTube channel, not just talk about myself. So I wanted to pick a mixture of like ones that you can all also take something away from this video with, because that's basically all I want. But yeah, you guys get the exclusive first dibs on the house update. There will be more to come on that in next week's vlog, and I just want to say thank you again, like from the bottom of my heart. Like, it means the fucking world, and I cannot wait to share like this sort of next chapter of my life with you guys. Like, it's when I think about the fact that I started posting YouTube videos when I was 19, 20, I think I was 20 when I started posting, and I'm 26 now. Like, you guys have been with me for 6 years. That's fucking crazy. You've been tuned into my life for 6 years. You've seen me do uni, you've seen me do my PT qualification, you've seen me start my coaching business, you've seen me start working with Alphalite as an affiliate, you've seen me progress to an athlete, move out of home, you've seen me in a relationship, you've seen me go through a breakup, you've seen me move back home, you've seen me graduate, me through many losses. We have literally kind of grown up together. which is crazy. So genuinely thank you for being on this journey with me, and I hope that you will enjoy the next chapter of this journey just as much. I hope that you will be happy about it. I don't know, I kind of get scared about stuff like this because I feel like I'm very like chronically aware of the fact I'm not in a normal position, and I never want me discussing stuff like this to come off in a braggy way, because I'm just not that sort of person. Ask anyone that knows me, not that sort of person at all. Like, I just don't have that within me. It's not very me, you know? So I hope it never comes across in that way. It's just from excitement, and also I kind of do feel like I owe you guys, you know, the behind the scenes of this journey, because you've been such a big part of it. And that's not in a way where I'm like, God, I don't want to do it, but I definitely owe them. I do want to share it, and you guys have been such a big part of me being in this position that it'd be rude not to, you know? So do let me know what sort of house content you want to see, or what you want to see about the house buying process, or if you've got any questions. Let me know what other YouTube videos you guys want to be seeing. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you want to and you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Goodbye.